Yves Saint Laurent YSL Elixir. The newness is here. This fragrance has been anticipated by some, and of course this was inevitably going to be next in the pipeline. You know there's an elixir trend, and I went to Macy's and I paid $180 for the 2-ounce bottle. The prices are getting up there. I'm excited to give you my thoughts on this brand new release. Are we heading in a really amazing direction here? Is this going to be redundant if you own Le Parfum or the Eau de Parfum or the Eau de Toilette or any of the other versions of this fragrance? I'm looking forward to giving you my thoughts very soon, so make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin today's episode and I give you my thoughts on the brand new fragrance by Yves Saint Laurent, YSL Elixir, I'll tell you about the notes, performance, longevity, comparisons. I'm not going to make this a comparison video among all of the other Ys because I do plan on doing that in a separate video, which is going to be a little bit more comprehensive, but I am going to gloss over it just to give you general understanding of how different I think it is from the others. But before I begin the video, I do want to mention that if you're a fan of fragrance-related content, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, give this video a thumbs up for the algorithm as well. It would really mean a lot to me. So look, I went on Macy's website. Very simple note breakdown. It has lavender, geranium, and oud. That's it. Of course, when we're dealing with something like this, there's always more than meets the eye. And for me, Y has always been about the apple, the citrus, the tonka bean. It's been fruity, bright, citrusy, a little sweet and creamy in the dry down. So of course, the perfumer Dominique Ropion said he intended to take a more intense, richer, woodsier direction with this, and he's an amazing perfumer. He's actually composed a fragrance that I have creatively directed for Navitus Parfum called Ray Spirits. I know his expertise. I know his professional and creative know-how. He is a genius. There's no denying that. So here with this particular fragrance, are we dealing with the next big thing? And of course, when it comes to elixir fragrances, we have Dior Sauvage Elixir, which went in a more grown-up direction with the spices. And of course, we have the new Hugo Boss Bottled Elixir, which was, I think, $140 according to my Macy's sales rep. I almost bought both and I said, do I really need both? It was going to be a lot of money to spend on just 2 designer fragrances. Nonetheless, the small size. Nevertheless, I'm excited to give you my thoughts on the smell. Let's start things off with a quick look at the presentation first. Now, right in the opening of this fragrance, I was really taken aback. I was taken aback by not only the resemblance to the original, because I do think it's there, but also the authenticity behind that statement made by the perfumer. This is indeed more intense. It's richer, it's darker, it's woodsier, but despite the darkness, there's still that effervescence in there. And it's funny because you look at the note breakdown, there's no citrus, at least not on Macy's website. There is another online fragrance forum that has an additional note listed in the note breakdown. But of course, I'm going to go off of something like Macy's because they deal directly with, the brand. With this particular fragrance, yes, you are going to get that aromatic vibe in there. The geranium is supposed to smell a little minty. Geranium can have a rosy effect. It can have a minty effect. And it could be a little bit on the herbal side of things too. For me personally, I'm getting a touch of that brightness, but I'm convinced that there's a lot of citrus in here. And I'm sure if I look at the back of the box and I read the ingredients, there's limonene, linalool, citrol, citronellol. All of these are byproducts, or these are the allergenic compounds that are found in a lot of citrus-based raw materials. So of course, there is citrus in here, right? You're gonna get this bright, effervescent opening. For me, it kind of smells like lemon crossed with bergamot, maybe even a touch of grapefruit. Like the opening of this is really nice. And right away, you get that darkness in here. Now, interestingly enough, I'm also getting a little bit of that incensey backbone, and I know, at least in the Eau de Parfum version, there's olibanum, which is otherwise known as frankincense. And for me, that's always had a lemony pine type of a smell, and I'm getting that here. So despite it not being listed in the note breakdown, I'm certainly getting a little bit of an incensey characteristic, but it's not smoky. The woods are really speaking in this fragrance, and I believe that there's oud in here, but it is a synthetic form of oud. Natural oud, of course, is hard to come by. Then there are sustainability issues, and then you cut one tree down, you plant another. It takes a long time for the maturation, so on and so forth. No, there's no natural oud in here. It's synthetic, but at the end of the day, it smells really pleasant. So here's the thing. I think the closest Y to this one in terms of smell is Y Eau de Parfum. Not the Eau Fraiche, not the original. The original, like I said, I've always associated it with that apple in the opening, the tonka bean adding that sweetness, the clary sage adding that modern, gentlemanly, aromatic appeal or sclerine molecule, whatever they're using in it. But with this fragrance, you have that lavender geranium thing, so there's still something aromatic about it, but it has that intense woodsy richness in the dry down that I think is really, really nice, and it's hard to ignore. But it still has a touch of sweetness in there, not on account of vanilla, at least I don't think so. It's something that I perceive right away, so I'm guessing whatever aroma molecule is in there that adds that apple vibe is also used in this one. Of course, inevitably, there has to be something to create a bridge between this recent flanker and some of the previous versions within the catalog, but I can certainly see or smell how they took this one in a darker, richer, more intense direction. This fragrance is awesome. I'm really glad I purchased it. Of course, $180 for a 2-ounce bottle is rather steep, but I think the longevity is there. I think the intrigue and the allure is there. And I think it's special enough that it has that versatility, dressed up, dressed down. So there are a lot of really positive things to be said about this fragrance. And personally, I'm a fan of it. You know, I tried this at Macy's and I said, I need to get myself a bottle. So I think it's worth picking up. I think if you have the resources, if you have that disposable income, check it out. I think it is a solid addition to your collection. And one thing that I can say about it is, in comparison with other elixirs, it seems like a lot of other brands that hop on the elixir bandwagon do create a richer, more intense and deeper version of the original, but they also go in a more grown-up, mature direction. And I don't think this one is necessarily dated or appealing to a demographic on an upper bracket as far as age is concerned. I think here we're dealing with something richer, more sensual, but something that can also coalesce with your personality. As a young person, whether you're a college student or even in high school, you can still convey a sense of intelligence and maturity and sophistication. So try it for yourself. See if it coincides with your sensibilities. If you like it, that need be the only, barometer or catalyst as to whether or not you're going to purchase it. So try it for yourself. Let's go ahead and finish things off with my overall assessment. Now, first up, in terms of the uniqueness and the overall smell, for me personally, it is unique, and I enjoy how there's still that brightness in there. There's still that aspect of it that pays homage to some of the previous iterations while still doing something new and abiding by that elixir designation. I think it's really special. Longevity is about 10 hours on skin, so the longevity is good. That can't be said about all of its predecessors, but for this one, it's actually really good. In terms of the projection, projected really well for the first hour of application at an arm's length, not beyond. It didn't become an elbow's length scent until right around hour 7. It became a skin scent right around hour 9 or 10. In terms of the versatility, according to traditional vantage points, it is masculine leaning, great for dressed up or dressed down, great for any time of the year, but I can see how somebody might wear the original eau de toilette or the eau de parfum or even the le parfum for, some of the hotter times of the year, and they might reserve this for the colder times of the year, even though I think le parfum is kind of all year round, but I'll do a more in-depth comparison video later on. I think this one would appeal to anybody of any age as long as you like the way that it smells. And as far as the presentation is concerned, I do like what they did with the bottle here. It kind of gives it a more reflective appearance. My final verdict on this fragrance is, for a brand new release in the year 2024, they did an amazing job. I'm sure the perfumer has been working on this for a very long time, but with it being a 2024 release, it's apropos. And of course, with the weather, at least where I live, still being rather cold, I think this one is awesome. I'm going to be wearing it a lot, as I have been. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you took something of value from this video. YSL Elixir by Yves Saint Laurent. If you did enjoy this video and you took something of value from today's review, please do consider supporting the channel by subscribing to it, hit the bell, and give this video a thumbs up for the algorithm too. Thanks again for watching. Love you all. We'll see you tomorrow with a brand new episode.